Hey, everybody, we're moving right along. We are going to do our star power vocabulary review. We should know these. We've been doing these since middle school, but it's good to refresh our memories and make sure we remember them so we're ready for the test. So these are going to go pretty quick. Let's go through them and move on to what's next. All right, so theme is the message about life, about human nature. And you want to just write in for yourself what this means. So the theme is the message about life and about human nature. What is the story telling us about the way people are and the way life is? So when you put in your theme, you can come up with something just that you learn from the characters from the story. The tone is how you think the author feels. What is the author's emotion? And that's what comes through. So we're thinking about tone, we're thinking about the author. Mood is how what you're reading affects the reader. So keep that in mind. Mood is about the reader. Tone is about the author or the narrator. Stage directions is what is written on the page of a play that tells the actors and the directors what to do, how to act, and how to present themselves on the stage. So anything they're telling people on the stage what to do, or they're telling the directors how to set them up, they're listed as stage directions. When you're making an allusion, you are referring to another work. You might be talking about Romeo and Juliet. You could be talking about a Star Wars movie or Marvel Avengers, but you mention, oh, Thor swinging his hammer, you've made an allusion to Thor. If you talk about the Bible, if you talk about Jesus, you've made an allusion to the Bible. If you talk about Romeo and Juliet, you've made it an allusion to Shakespeare. So keep that in mind. An allusion is mentioning another work. Rhetorical, rhetoric. When you're using rhetoric, you're trying to persuade somebody. So rhetoric is persuasion. Keep that in mind. Different kind of rhetoric. There's three different kinds of rhetoric: ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos is your reputation. Why should I trust you? Right? So you can put reputation, like I'm a doctor, I have a PhD, I'm an NBA All-Star, I'm in the Hall of Fame, anything like that. They show people in lab coats on commercials, they're supposed to be doctors. They're focused on the ethos. When somebody famous is selling a product, Shaquille O'Neal selling lots of things, they are banking on his ethos. Oh, he's famous. He's a celebrity. He's an athlete. He's going to represent us. So keep that in mind. Pathos is emotion. And when they're trying to persuade you, if they can get you emotional, they're much more likely to sell you something and to make you believe what they want. Whether it's get you upset, make you laugh, make you smile, there are all kinds of commercials focused on your emotions. Think about all the car commercials. Subaru is great at that, right? Man comes home with his puppy, and then it's a grown dog, and then it's an old dog, and he has to help it get inside the Subaru, and they're going to go fishing together, even though the dog is old and can't run the way he used to, because it's a Subaru. So, is having an old dog going to make the car any better or worse? No, but they know if you get to people's emotions, you can persuade them to buy what you want. Logos is logic, right? And anytime I talk about studies or statistics, percentages, numbers. Anytime they're talking about statistics, studies, numbers, they're using logos. 9 out of 10 dentists approve. In a study done by the University of Texas, 87% saw improvement. All that kind of stuff, that's using logic, that's using logos to persuade. These are the three forms of rhetoric: logos, pathos, ethos. Alliteration, we should know words starting with the same consonant sound, like so soft the sound of silence. He was healthy and happy and hungry, right? You're repeating the consonant sounds at the beginning of the words. That's alliteration. And of course, you can pause this at any time to catch up on the words, putting in the definitions. Pause and start back up again when you're ready for the next ones. But for now, let's keep going. Figurative language. Anytime you're not saying exactly what you mean, if you're not being literal, you're being figurative. And these are all examples of figurative language here. If you think about it, personification, right? Personification, you don't literally mean what you're saying. You could say, oh, the trees are waving at me. Literally? Well, no, I'm using figurative language. I don't really mean that the trees are waving at me. They're not alive. They're blowing in the wind. It looks like they're waving, right? That's personification. Simile is personification. It's like a hawk. She's fast as an eagle. Literally, can she really go as fast as an eagle? No, I'm using figurative language. Keep that in mind. So, personification, giving inanimate things, people qualities, and also just other things, right? Pets, animals, personifying them, giving them qualities of people. A simile, comparing two things using like or as, and it's to show how they're alike and also give people an idea of how they move and work. Metaphor, direct comparison, and sometimes it's not so obvious. Like if we say, "Oh, we won the game. Our defensive line was a brick wall." Well, we get that that's a metaphor. They weren't really a brick wall, but sometimes they're not that obvious in what they say about it, right? I'm so sad. I covered my head with my blanket of shame. Well, that's a metaphor too. They don't literally have a blanket of shame, but it's not directly, obviously a comparison like that. So watch out for comparisons like that. They could make a difference. Hyperbole, big exaggeration. Oh my God, I'm in so much trouble. My parents are going to kill me. Really? Are your parents really going to kill you? No, of course not. You're just using hyperbole. You're exaggerating for effect to show extra emotion. So these are all forms of figurative language. Remember, figurative language is when you don't mean literally what you say. Any of these, all of these, and maybe a few more are all figurative language. Remember a rhyme scheme. At the end of each line, the word that rhymes, if it's repeated, it's the same letter. So if you have 4 lines, let's say the first one ends with dry, so that's A, and the second one ends with fly, that's A again. But if the third one is walk, well, then that's B. And if the ly comes up again, it'll go back to A. So that's the rhyme scheme. Stanza is a paragraph in poetry. So stanzas can be longer or shorter. It just depends on the poet. But once again, it's equivalent to a paragraph. And there's a line break in between. It's the next stanza. Onomatopoeia, boom, pow, bang, snap. Words that sound like sounds and spelling out sounds really bring your writing to life. Author's purpose. Why is the author writing this? What is his purpose? Is he trying to persuade us? Is he using rhetoric? Is he trying to entertain us, inform us? And of course, there's other purposes within that are more detailed, but those are the basic one. Inform, persuade, entertain. And which one is the main one is what you're looking for, what you would be using your riddle skills for. All right, so we went through those pretty quick. Once again, if you couldn't type that fast, you can always pause and key in what they are. And I hope you do key in what they are, because if you're writing them, you're remembering them much better than just listening to the video. All right, so go back, go through them, rewind this if needed so you can hear the definitions. You don't have to type the definitions in word for word, of course. Just put in what's going to help you remember when you read over this the morning of, the night before the STAAR test. All right, thanks for working through this. You are strong, confident, and successful. And we're going to go on to the next one here pretty quick. So just think about being brave and patient, and we'll talk about that in the next video. Bye for now.